It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. The dump is still shut down. They haven't even reopened for operations. And WNBA dump divers, they are already complaining about their minimum wage salaries. Normally, when we hear these complaints about minimum wage in the WNBA, they're completely ignored. If the dump wasn't being subsidized by the NBA, if dump divers were being paid what they were actually worth, they would be receiving an invoice every 2 weeks instead of a paycheck. The WNBA would be charging them to play in the league. Either that or they would all be fired. But this time, the complaints about minimum wage, they are coming from someone with merit. This time, the complaints are coming from someone who is actually being underpaid. Hell, underpaid is an understatement. She is severely underpaid. Headline at ESPN. Caitlin Clark's agent claims that she and other WNBA players are underpaid. Here we go again with the partial truth. Like I said, other WNBA players, they are fortunate to receive their minimum wage salaries, but I think we can all agree Caitlin Clark is underpaid. Last year, the WNBA paid their hero around $75,000. Now, according to the Indianapolis Star, Caitlin Clark was responsible for generating $36 million for the city of Indianapolis. Now, I was actually surprised by that number. I was surprised that it was that low. Years ago, when LeBron James was in Cleveland for the second time, there was a report released. I want to say it was from Forbes. They were estimating that LeBron's economic impact for the city of Cleveland every year was over $1 billion. So I was surprised to see that Caitlin Clark's impact was that low. But either way, she deserved to be paid more than $75,000. Caitlin Clark was also responsible for 27% of the WNBA's economic activity. Without Caitlin Clark, the dump could have lost over $60 million last season instead of $50 million. I don't think anyone would argue that Caitlin Clark is underpaid. But here's the problem for Kat Engelbert and the WNBA. The same dump divers that were jealous of Caitlin Clark, the same players that were angry last season because Caitlin Clark was getting all the attention, those same entitled players, they are going to use Caitlin Clark in a desperate attempt to demand money that they haven't earned. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. Link to the main channels in the description below. I think the premise of this article from ESPN, it was to put pressure on Kat Engelbert and the WNBA front office. The current collective bargaining agreement, it is set to expire at the end of this season. If an agreement can't be reached by the fall, WNBA players, they're going to go on strike. Well, KC, this news is great! The dreams of normal people will finally come true! The WNBA will cease to exist! Yeah, I share in that excitement. If there was a labor strike in the WNBA and the 2026 season was canceled, I don't think anyone would care. Uncle KC damn sure wouldn't care. Now, I would be confident in this happening if the WNBA operated like an actual business. I would be confident if the WNBA was forced to generate profit. I would be confident if the NBA had a real commissioner instead of Captain Beta. Here in the next few months, we are going to see constant complaints from WNBA dump divers. They are going to use their pretend friends in the mainstream media to put pressure on Alice Silver. They're going to portray themselves as the ultimate victims of an overly oppressive regime. NBA players are making millions, and we're not even making dozens of pesos. It's misogyny. It's toxic masculinity. It's not fair. A real commissioner would tell WNBA players, if you want more money, generate more profit. Hell, generate some profit. This dump hasn't generated a Colombian peso in profit in the last 30 years. How in the hell can you ask for a raise when the cook at Waffle House is generating more profit than you are? A real commissioner would tell WNBA players, if you want to go on strike, fine. Matter of fact, don't even worry about going on strike. Don't worry about using your energy. You're going to need to save that energy to polish your resume. Instead of wasting your time going on strike, I'll just shut down the dump. That way, you don't have anything to complain about. You don't have to complain about your minimum wage salaries because they no longer exist. Adam Silver, he's not going to do that. Adam Silver's not going to take a stand. This dude's afraid to stand up to soft players in the NBA. You really think that Adam Silver has the balls to spite women? And in some cases, women with beards? I would not be surprised to see Adam Silver give WNBA players more than they're asking for. Last year, the NBA generously donated $200 million over the next 11 years to the WNBA, $2.2 billion. Now, how did the WNBA show their appreciation? They complained about it. They claimed that $200 million a year wasn't enough. They wanted to test the open market and see what they would be paid by television networks as a standalone property. I wish Adam Silver allowed this to happen. But Captain Beta, he was doing what weak men do. He was saving the WNBA from themselves because he knew without the NBA tied into this television deal, the networks, they would not be willing to pay the WNBA. They would probably charge the WNBA for airtime on their network. This is only the beginning. We are entering the summer of complaints. We are entering a summer where WNBA players will constantly whine about their salaries. They will use Caitlin Clark. They will take advantage of Caitlin Clark to secure more money for themselves. And Adam Silver will give it to them. Give me your thoughts on this. I think we can all agree Caitlin Clark is underpaid, but WNBA players, they are using Caitlin Clark to claim that they are underpaid as well. Will Adam Silver take a stand and pay WNBA players what they are actually worth? Or will he give in to their demands and overpay them? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.